You're sitting in your room right now, fan blasting, and you're still sweating through your shirt. You've been told to buy an air conditioner. They want $400, $600, or more. But what if I told you that right now, for less than $8 in supplies you can grab at any dollar store or hardware shop, you could drop the temperature in this room by 10, 12, even 15 degrees Fahrenheit. No electricity bill spike, no installation, no complicated gadgets. This is a method that was used in desert regions of the Middle East, North Africa, and rural India for centuries. Engineers rediscovered it. Survival experts call it one of the most underrated off-grid cooling techniques ever documented. And almost nobody on YouTube is talking about it in a practical step-by-step way. Today, I'm going to fix that. Stay until the end, because step 5 is the most important one, and it's the one most people skip entirely. Before we dive in, let me give you the science so you understand why this works, because once you understand the principle, you'll be able to apply it anywhere, anytime, in any room. The method we're building today is called evaporative pre-cooling combined with passive air channeling. It has two parts working together. Part 1, cooling the incoming air before it hits your body. Part 2, directing that cool air exactly where you need it without wasting it. When water evaporates, it absorbs heat from the surrounding air. This is called evaporative cooling, the same reason your body sweats. We're going to harness that exact process using nothing but water, salt, clay pots, or a metal bucket, a cheap $3 fan, and some basic household items. This is not a gimmick. This is physics. Let's build it. Here's everything you need. I've kept this under $8 total. I'll show you exact alternatives so you can use what you already have at home. Item 1. One unglazed terracotta or clay pot. Medium size, about 10 to 12 inches wide. Cost, $2 to $3 at a dollar store or garden center. If you don't have one, a metal bucket or even a large plastic mixing bowl will work, though clay is 40% more effective due to its porous walls. Item 2. One smaller clay pot, about 5 to 6 inches wide, to nest inside the large one. Cost, $1. Alternatively, use an empty tin can. Item 3. Clean sand or gravel, just a few handfuls, free from outside or $0.50 from a dollar store. Item 4. Water. Tap water works perfectly, free. Item 5. 2 tablespoons of regular table salt, already in your kitchen, free. Item 6. A small personal fan. Any $3 to $5 clip fan or desk fan works. If you already own one, your total cost just dropped to under $4. Item 7. A shallow tray or plate to place under the pots. This catches drips, already in your kitchen. Item 8. Optional. A strip of wet burlap cloth or old cotton t-shirt fabric. Enhances performance by 20%. We'll use this in the advanced setup. Total cost if you buy everything new, $650 to $8. Total cost if you already have a fan, under $4. Step 1. Build the Zeer Pot Cooler. Step 1. We're going to build what's known as a Zeer Pot, the ancient African and Middle Eastern cooling vessel that still outperforms $50 electric coolers in dry heat conditions. Take your large clay pot, place it on the shallow tray. Make sure the drainage hole in the bottom is plugged with a small piece of cloth or cork. You do not want water draining out too fast. Now fill the bottom of the large pot with 2 to 3 inches of damp sand. Pack it down firmly with your hand. Take your smaller pot and place it directly in the center, on top of that sand layer. The smaller pot should sit upright, centered, with at least a 1.5-inch gap between its outer wall and the inner wall of the large pot all the way around. This gap is critical. That's where the magic happens. Now fill that gap, the space between the two pots, with more damp sand. Pack it firmly on all sides. Leave about 1 inch of space at the top. Now dissolve 2 tablespoons of salt into 1 cup of water. Salt water has a slightly lower evaporation point and dramatically slows bacterial growth in the sand, which would otherwise cause odor. Pour this saltwater mixture slowly over the sand gap until it is fully saturated. You'll know it's saturated when you see a tiny bit of water pooling at the top. The outer clay pot walls will now begin sweating. You'll see moisture beading on the outside surface. That moisture evaporating is what cools the inner chamber. Inside that small pot, temperature will drop 10 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit within 20 to 30 minutes in a low humidity environment. Step 2. Position the cooler for maximum airflow. Step 2 is about position, and this is where most people get it completely wrong. They just put their fan and cooler in the middle of the room and wonder why they don't feel anything. Rule number 1. Place your Zeer Pot cooler near an open window or door, but not in direct sunlight. Sunlight heats the outer pot and defeats the evaporation process. Rule number 2. The fan should not blow directly at the pot. Instead, position your fan so it pulls air across the surface of the wet outer pot walls. This is called cross-draft evaporative assist. The moving air accelerates moisture evaporation from the clay surface, making it up to 60% more effective than still air. To do this, set the fan 8 to 12 inches away from the side of the pot. Angle the fan slightly so the airstream skims the pot's surface and continues toward your seating area. You should be sitting or sleeping in the direct path of that airstream. the air that has just been cooled by passing over the pot surface. Rule number 3. Open a window on the opposite side of the room from the fan if possible. This creates a passive cross-breeze effect. Hot air escapes while cooled air fills the room from the fan side. Even a 2-inch gap under a door achieves this. If your room has no windows, we'll handle that in step 4 with the duct trick. Step 3. The wet cloth amplifier. Step 3 is the upgrade that turns a good system into a great one. This alone can add 4 to 6 additional degrees of cooling. Take your burlap strip or cut up cotton t-shirt into long strips about 3 inches wide. Soak these strips completely in cold water. Wring them out until they are damp, not dripping. Now wrap these strips around the outside of the large clay pot. Cover the entire surface you can. Secure the ends by tucking them under the tray or tying loosely. This external wet cloth layer adds a second evaporative surface on top of the clay's own sweating. As the fan draws air across this surface, you now have 2 simultaneous cooling layers happening at the same time. The clay sweating from inside out, and the cloth evaporating from the outside surface. The air your fan pushes toward you has now passed through 2 cooling phases. Re-wet the cloth every 2 to 3 hours. In very dry climates, desert regions, mountain towns, or air-conditioned spaces with low humidity, you may need to re-wet every 90 minutes. In humid climates, like coastal regions or monsoon season, evaporative cooling becomes less effective as humidity rises above 60%. In those conditions, skip the cloth and focus on the airflow techniques in steps 2 and 4. Pro tip: add 2 drops of eucalyptus or peppermint essential oil to the water you use for the cloth. This does not increase cooling in degrees, but it creates a menthol sensation on skin that makes the room feel 3 to 4 degrees cooler than it actually is. Your brain registers cool the same whether it's real or perceived. This is actually used in commercial cooling products. They just don't tell you that. Step 4. The duct trick for sealed or small rooms. Step 4 is for anyone in a small room, basement, apartment with no windows, or any space where you cannot create a natural cross breeze. This is the duct trick, and it costs literally nothing extra. You're going to build a directional air channel using cardboard, tape, and nothing else. Take 2 long pieces of cardboard. Any cardboard from a shipping box works perfectly. Tape them into a V-shaped or funnel shape, approximately 18 to 24 inches long. The wide end of this funnel goes right behind your fan. The narrow end points toward your seating area, your bed, your desk, wherever you need cooling. This funnel concentrates the airflow rather than letting it spread out and dissipate throughout the room. Physics tells us that concentrated airflow feels significantly cooler on skin than diffused airflow at the same temperature, because faster moving air removes body heat faster through convection. A breeze at 68 degrees feels colder than still air at 60 degrees. Speed matters. Now set your Zir pot cooler at the wide mouth of the cardboard funnel. The fan should be at the very back of the funnel, behind the pot, pulling air across the pot surface and pushing it through the funnel channel toward you. For maximum effect, cut 2 4-inch circular holes in the lower sides of the cardboard funnel and place additional soaked cloth strips inside the funnel walls. The air passes through these wet cloth panels as it travels through the duct, adding a third cooling stage. In a sealed 10 by 10 room with no windows, this setup, even with a $3 battery fan, can lower felt temperature by 8 to 12 degrees within 15 minutes. Not the room's air temperature, your felt temperature, which is what actually matters for comfort and sleep. Step 5. The most important step most people skip. I told you at the start to stay until step 5. Here it is, and it has nothing to do with building anything. This is about timing, and without it, even a perfect system only works at 40% capacity. Most people activate their cooling setup when they're already hot. That is exactly backwards. Here's the correct protocol. Timing rule 1. Pre-soak 30 minutes before you need the room. Set up your Zir pot, wet your cloths, start the fan, and then leave the room. Let the system run for 30 full minutes before you re-enter. When you come back, the room will feel dramatically different than if you had just turned it on. Timing rule 2. Night protocol for sleeping. Start the system 45 minutes before bedtime. Close your bedroom door. The concentrated cool air fills the room. When you enter to sleep, the ambient temperature has already been preconditioned. Then turn the fan to low or medium. You don't need full power once the room is pre-cooled. This saves battery power if you're on a portable fan. Timing. Rule 3. Rehydrate on a schedule, not by feel. Every 90 minutes during waking hours, add a half cup of fresh cold water to the sand gap and re-wet your cloth. Don't wait until the sand is dry. Evaporation has already slowed by that point, and you've lost 20 to 30 minutes of peak efficiency. Set a phone alarm. Make it automatic. Timing rule 4. The ice amplifier. If you have access to even a single tray of ice, place it in the inner small pot for the first 15 minutes of operation. This gives the system a cold jump start. After 15 minutes, remove it. You don't need it anymore. The pre-cooled inner chamber now maintains temperature through evaporation alone. This gets you 3 to 5 extra degrees of cooling during the critical first phase. Timing rule 5. Humidity awareness. Check your outdoor humidity. When humidity is above 65%, evaporative cooling becomes less effective. On high humidity days, shift your strategy. Focus entirely on the cardboard duct and airflow, without the wet cloth. Moving air still provides significant relief through convective body cooling even when evaporation slows.